Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our final panel talk this evening. We're covering the topic of tourism and culinary industry trends 2023. This talk should last about 30 minutes. I'll just introduce myself. I am one of the marketing managers at ATU, and I will be your panel host this evening. I've been joined by a panel of experts from across the industry and from across ATU. So it's great to have this panel with us today. I will kick off by just introducing everybody. So firstly, I have Rosemary Dewhurst, who is a lecturer in hospitality and tourism in ATU Donegal. Hi, Rosemary. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Then next up, we have Cáit Noon, who is the head of school in the Galway International Hotel School in ATU Galway Mayo. Hello, Cáit. How are you?
Hi, Theo. I'm good, thank you. And hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Good stuff. And finally, we are joined by our industry expert, who is Michael Vaughan. He is of Vaughan Lodge Hotel in Lahinch, a very popular tourist destination. He's the former president of the Irish Hotels Federation, and he is also an alum of the Galway International Hotel School. So we're delighted to have Michael along today to give us that industry insight. And we're looking forward to chatting to you now, Michael.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and hello to everybody.
Good. And Michael says he's got a full dining room now this evening, so he really is sacrificing his evening to join us. So
I'm getting a rest.
Now we'll be having a lot of questions for you. So look, just a little bit of housekeeping before we start off. The talk is lasting about 30 minutes. We're here till 9 o'clock. There is a Q&A panel just underneath this window here. And if you have any questions for the panel, just drop them in there. We have a team watching the questions coming in. So if you have anything specific you want to ask, we won't be addressing it here with the panelists, but they will be able to talk back or reply back to you on text anyway. And this is being recorded, so it will be available to watch back after, in case you have to nip off and help with the dinners or anything like that, you know. So look, we'll just start by talking to Michael, because really the talk topic is tourism and culinary industry trends, and nobody better than yourself to give us a little update. You know, the tourism and hospitality industry, it's you know, it went through a tough time there. You know, we're back in recovery now, and you know, what have you seen recently around the kind of how the tourism sector has responded to these challenging times?
Well, I think it's true to say that we have a very resilient industry, because a lot of people had us written off during COVID, and we bounced back. You saw during COVID how many people in hospitality adapted to the strange situation they were in, developed new product. A lot of new entrepreneurs in hospitality and tourism that have taken on ideas that just weren't there before. Outdoor dining spaces, you know, food trucks, home deliveries, people visiting people's houses to cook in their houses. There's a whole myriad of exciting things happening. And apart from that, the employers took on board that people really wanted to have a look at how their lives were lived, and to look at the flexibility in jobs. And a lot of employers now are looking at how they can suit people's lifestyle and how they can manage to provide lovely careers, decent careers with a strong career path, and at the same time balance that whole work-life routine. So a lot happening in the space. And I think COVID, you know, it's a strange thing to say, but I think COVID has been very good to our industry, for our industry, because we have now focused on the essence of what a career is in hospitality.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic to hear that. You know, again, it's full of energy, and, you know, it has revitalized the industry, I suppose, in a way that people wouldn't have foreseen, you know, back in those dark days. So what do you see, I suppose, in your view, like the biggest opportunities for tourism businesses in Ireland at the moment?
Well, the big opportunity in tourism business is creating experiences that are authentic to the region that people are in. And they can be as simple things as guided walks, local cuisine, things that people like to do themselves. There's a whole host of, you saw it with Airbnb, and that has come on the market. And people are now going beyond that and they're trying to really create something that is unique. What's the essence of Ireland? How do we deliver it to people? And what does it mean to have a modern Ireland? And what is hosting and hospitality like in a modern Ireland? So that's something that's really happening. And I think we're seeing a huge explosion in boutique hotels, boutique restaurants, new modern fusion cuisine that is really testing I suppose the ability and the creativity of people on the ground. And I think you're seeing a renaissance really in terms of what we offer.
Yeah, no, look, it's fantastic to hear. And I know, like, we're obviously working in the education side of things, and education has to respond to that as well. So I know Koch and Rosemary will be able to kind of talk on that around how, you know, getting the skills into the industry as well is a key challenge for us as well. So,
and you know,
like,
the thing I'd say, Cleo, the other thing is in terms of things in the industry, there's a broad spectrum now. Hotels are employing brand managers and marketing now, which was never a case before. We're employing tech people to develop apps, to develop new technique. We're probably the biggest adapters of technology out there. Any hotel, my own included here, has a myriad of things. They're complex organizations to run, and they need tech, and they need the experience side, and we're outsourcing a lot of the mundane things like accounting and that, so that we can focus on the guest and giving them a really good experience.
Yeah, the personalization element
Exactly
and all that, and the kind of the continuing guest, I suppose, as well, the experience after they've left. So, like, yeah, it's a good thing to highlight. You know, it's not just the traditional view of a hospitality career or tourism career. You know, there's a lot out there for them. You mentioned there just about the industry and employers are responding. And again, it's in the media at the moment around this employer excellence mark from Fáilte Ireland. Just to mention that, you know, is it benefiting those who work in the industry, who are looking for a career in the industry?
Yeah, we've had a grouping that in the background have been trying to make changes, structural changes to the industry for quite a while. And one of the things we've said is that we need to focus on career. The focus has always been on the guest. The focus is coming right around the other way now. And I'd honestly say as an operator that the focus is how can we attract young people into the business? How can we attract people from other lifestyles and from other occupations into our business who have life skills that we could do with? And how can we give them a career path? And the employer quality brand that's out there at the moment is something that's really welcomed. And there's an iteration of that. There's one being developed for smaller businesses as well. So if somebody is coming into the business, the big question to ask your employer is, is there a training program for me? What type of advancements can I get in my career? What would my job look like in 10 years' time? Would I have gained promotion? What kind of salary? What conditions? These are all very valid things. And if an employer is not answering these questions for you, you should really be questioning that employer.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we've just lost Michael's camera connection there, but these things happen. There is a storm brewing on the west coast, and that might explain.
Sorry, I'm live again here, so technological blip. But these are things that must be asked, and indeed, lots of great employers out there. Make sure before you should be interviewing your employer. That's what I say to people coming to work now.
Yeah, that's very good advice from you now. That's from your experience in the years in the industry. Just briefly, a final question for you, Michael, I suppose. Could you just give us a little flavour of your career path, you know, where you've progressed and you know, what opportunities you've had through your career in tourism?
Well, I grew up in the business. I'm fourth generation hotelier, and my father always wanted to know where he might send us, because Shannon Hotel School is right beside us, and they have an international hotel school. But his great friend ran one of the wonderful hotels in London called the Copthorne Tara Hotel, and he asked Owen Dillon, where do you see the best graduates? And he said unequivocally, the RTC in Galway, which it was back then. It's ATU Galway now, and so there was no question. These are the most practical. It still continues today under Koch's reign. It's a very practical experience. I then worked with my dad for a while. I went to work for Jury's Hotels. I travelled around the world. I ended up as group sales manager for them. Right around, I've travelled every country practically in the world, developing sales for that company. Came back to Dromorant Castle to run the golf club there. And then I built my own hotel here in Lahinch in 2005. And I've been here since. But along the way, there's been great opportunity. And there's opportunity to change careers in hotels, to get out of hotels and go into tourism. I have a colleague who was general manager of the Shelbourne Hotel, is just about to take over as general manager of Shannon Heritage now. So it is, as they used to say in Moore Street, the world is your lobster.
Well, that's great advice. That is fantastic to hear your personal story as well and journey. Like, I think, you know, it really does make it
And
reflects kind of what the
just to tie
opportunities
into
are.
what you're doing here, really now what we're about in this industry, and a lot of industry, is people want to earn and learn at the same time, and they want to get accreditation and add it on, maybe not in one big bite over a couple of years, maybe they want to add on in modules, and a lot of employers are facilitating that, and we are developing badging systems, and in conjunction with ATU. And there's going to be some tremendous opportunities. There already is, but even more opportunities in the next number of years, because we're developing a learning management system that will be there through ATU, that you'll be able, no matter what employment you go to, you'll be able to develop that career. And if you don't find an employer who's helping you on this career path, you'll find lots more. And it's a great journey. It's a wonderful career, and opportunities exist. Just, you've got to look for them.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic advice. And I think you've really hit the nail on the head around kind of, the trends in the industry and where we are going forward. And I suppose you've led in nicely now. I'm going to thank you very much, Michael, for your contributions. I'm going to talk to Coach now. So Coach, just following on from that advice from Michael, I suppose, you've been working in the Galway International Hotel School for many years. You've seen a lot of graduates go through. Where can a career in tourism take people? That's kind of a really open-ended question. But again, just to kind of give people that sense of the possibilities.
Absolutely, Cleo. And as Michael said, and it's so very true, and I don't know many courses where you could actually say this, but quite literally you can work anywhere in the world, because there are lots of qualifications which nowadays people can get. It might be a special purpose award or indeed a full qualification. But with some discipline areas, you have to go and retrain or retake exams in certain countries. And I'm not going to name the disciplines, but it is well known. But with the qualification from the tourism industry, so we're talking about qualifications in hotel and hospitality, culinary arts, event management, indeed tourism itself. Any of those qualifications you can take, and you can work anywhere in the world, because the skill set that comes with those qualifications is critically important, and that allows you to adapt and work. So, fine dining in one country may be similar to another, but there will be differences. But we don't only deal in that type of work. We prepare students for the world of work. So there's lots of different strands and themes within tourism, and we do our very best to ensure our students are ready to face that world of work. And we believe we're doing well, because so many of them get so many amazing jobs.
Yes, and Michael spoke very highly of it there. So yes, it's definitely a known fact as well. Just in terms of, I suppose, like we're looking, this is flexible and online and professional development. This is kind of the audience we're talking to tonight. So people who are maybe interested in upskilling and retraining. Could we talk just a bit about recognition of prior learning? So again, maybe somebody who has finished up in their education possibly a long time ago or not so long ago, and maybe they're just looking to get that first foot in the door in terms of but they've maybe worked in the industry for a while.
Absolutely, Cleo. Yeah, for sure. And something, we did a piece of research a little while back, a couple of years back, just before COVID hit badly. And we worked with some amazing industry stakeholders across the country. And what was very evident to us is there was some really great people working in our industry, hotels, cafes, restaurants, whatever. There's so many different sectors. But some of them had never finished school. Some of them had never gone on to college, and some had, but maybe hadn't gone the whole way in terms of getting maybe a level 8 honours degree. And that really highlighted for us the need to be more flexible and to be adaptable, to really meet the needs of those people, because we want to encourage people to stay in our industry, but we also want to demonstrate that there are career pathways through. So there is something now that I'm conscious perhaps a lot of our industry partners or people may not know about, and that is RPL, recognition of prior learning. And what recognition of prior learning will do, it will acknowledge and recognise prior learning you've had. So for example, if somebody comes to us with a qualification and they want to move forward and they have some proven industry experience, so they can document what they have done in an industry. And it's not just for tourism, but I'll only talk about tourism. What you can do is you can take that, you can go through a process, you can document your experience, and you can demonstrate that in addition to whatever your basic qualification was, if you have one, you then may also have this experience which can be considered and used as an entry route, possibly into some college courses. There may be some that it might not be possible, but for many there is, and in tourism specifically, it's an entry route in for many. So we often have mature students who come to us who maybe have a level 6 qualification and they're looking to enter, but they maybe aren't ready to engage, with 3 years of full study to get an honours degree or 4 years. We would look at what they have already done and see where we can give them some exemptions. So ATU, I have to say, and I'm really proud to say, is a leader in RPL. We have some fantastic work taking place. At the moment, the National Forum has just supported and helped fund an RPL digital badge for over 100 academics in the country. And there was a very significant number of colleagues from ATU on that particular course. And there's also a facilitators course following up. So it's a great opportunity for people to ask us about RPL. All they have to do is ask us, and we will take them through the process and explain it to them.
Great. No, look, that's good advice. Again, I'll share this. I think there is a website, if you go to atu.ie/RPL, that will get you to a page that talks a little bit about that and also puts you in contact with the RPL coordinators, because there is one based in every location as well. So, again, as you say, it's a very good, a lot of people would have that experiential learning, and it's recognizing that and then getting them forward into a certain level of a course. Just we might just talk a little bit about key skills, if you wouldn't mind, Coach. So somebody who's maybe coming into the tourism sector or hospitality, are there certain key skills that you would recommend people consider taking? And again, this is kind of following on from Michael saying there's going to be digital badges, shorter courses, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, Cleo. And I'm smiling because I remember a hotel manager once telling me when I was starting out in my career, common sense is not so common. But an element of common sense is really, really important. In a job like this, your customer service skills, your interpersonal skills are really important. If you're somebody who doesn't like people, this may not necessarily be the industry for you, because you will interact with people on a daily basis. Maybe it's your team members, maybe it's indeed the customers. So those interpersonal skills are really important in terms of that ability to work with people, to listen to people. So communication is not just about talking, it's also about listening. So that's really, really important. I would say as well, like good customer service skills, be willing to listen to the customer, to show empathy. Yes, sometimes the customer gets it wrong, but of course we as professionals will do everything we can to ensure the customer has that great experience, because we want them to come back. It's much easier to turn a customer into a returning customer than have to be constantly looking for new customers. I would say, an element of being able to multitask. And by the way, many people will come to us and they won't have this skill set, and that's fine. We will help you develop the skills if you're interested in the industry and really keen. But multitasking is really, really important. Being able to prioritize tasks and activity, being able to manage your time, being able to handle pressure, because sometimes it can be a little bit pressured, because you could be dealing with really bad weather and having an outdoor event. Maybe the food delivery hasn't arrived or the barman hasn't turned up. They're just normal actions that happen every day, and it's about managing that. So I would say, last but not least, probably one of the really important skills that we encourage in ATU, and that is languages. We often have people who come to us and say, I did a language for my Leaving Cert, I don't like languages. We allow students to start at the very beginning in Galway, so they can take basic French, German, Spanish, and we also have Gaeilge. And it's fantastic, because what we do is we encourage them, if they want to take that language, but then also to see it through. So we have a lot of international work placement, and the students very often go to those locations through Erasmus or through our industry partners. And a language skill is so great to have in our industry, because nobody's expecting you to be fluent in the language. But just if you have a cúpla focal, it really makes a difference when you have that European visitor come see you. And of course, if you do have a cúpla focal, the American visitors are really happy to learn a few words as well, as Gaeilge. So it's really good, and it's important as well. However, it's not mandatory, but we've seen a real increase in language uptake over the last few years. And that's down to my colleagues who do such great work in that area.
Yeah, no, that's good advice, Coach. And I just enjoyed all those skills that you mentioned there. Common sense, cool head as well, is probably necessary in order to succeed if you're running events, especially. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So look, I am just going to ask you one final question, Coach, and if you could be a little bit brief around blended work and study. Would you see a lot of that now as a need for people to actually kind of continue working, but then kind of upskill as they work?
Yeah, absolutely. without a doubt. I see people who are choosing to come to college, maybe just to come on campus to do a module because they're thinking about getting back into higher education. We're working with one hotel company at the moment, Delata Hotels, where their general managers are taking a module with us online. So that's suiting their working day, and it's a really important development for them as part of their CPD. So absolutely, the level of flexibility required is really important because not everybody can get to a campus location.
Yeah.
And we're really keen at ATU to provide access and entry routes for people across our organisation. We have 8 campuses, soon to be 9. So it's really important that you have that option for people. And our colleagues are doing some really great work in that space. And I would imagine we'll have a lot more of those types of programmes going forward.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you very much, Coach. That's great advice for everybody. And now finally, we'll move to our last panellist. Rosemary, thank you for being patient and waiting.
No problem. No problem.
So Rosemary, you're based up in ATU Donegal, and I know one of the things we were going to talk about was the area of lifelong learning. So, those people who have a qualification at a certain level and maybe, want to come back and return to education. Could you talk to us just about maybe your experience of kind of teaching in that space, around lifelong learning?
Well, just hospitality and tourism itself is such a very fast-paced industry where time is money. And what we have noticed over the years is that our students or students of the future are looking for the most modern way of getting qualifications and upskilling. And lifelong learning is that way. Whether you're entering third level for the first time or whether you are seeking to progress in your career in the industry, flexible and funded study opportunities are available through the lifelong learning programs that we have in ATU. The key words, I suppose, that we hear from our students and from our potential students and from you out there is work-life balance, funded if possible, part-time. Can I do this course anywhere where there's Wi-Fi? Can I do it in the staff canteen when I'm on my break? Is the assignments, is there any exams? All of these things we have catered for in the courses that we have designed. And I just think that lifelong learning is the way to go in hospitality and tourism. You could be anywhere in the world, and the courses that we've designed now in this space, it opens a lot of doors. And again, as my colleagues Michael and Katch has said, the world is your lobster in regards to lifelong learning. I just think it's such a passionate industry. The people in it, and RPL is so important. They've been working for years in it. They may have not had any qualifications. That fear factor is there. But within ATU and within the design teams and the modules and the courses we've designed, we've made it a lot more easier. It's not the mundane exams and essays. It's more practical, applied application, contextualizing the theory and putting it into practice. So definitely.
Yeah. And just, I know myself, I speak to a lot of graduates or current students, through our work of just getting student stories out there. One thing I find is that when people do come back, it really does build their confidence. They may be working in the industry and they may never have got that qualification, but once they do, a module or, a couple of modules together, the networks they make in terms of the people they study alongside, but also then just this inner confidence. I've really seen it with students.
And the alumni, the networking collaboration, it's not one hotel employee against another. It's learning from each other. We're all one big happy family in the hospitality and tourism industry. And again, hospitality and tourism is not just about hotels. We have graduates that I have one graduate rang me from the rugby pitch in South Africa saying, guess what? I did my degree with you 2 years ago and here I am. I'm events and floor manager for the rugby team in South Africa. And she's from a little place up in North Donegal, so as I said, I think it's just a great opportunity. And as she said, if you didn't give me the opportunity to do it and I got over that first semester, I can do anything now. And That's what we're trying to and that's in all our ATUs between all our 9 campuses now.
Good stuff. And I can attest that you are a happy family. There's been great chats as we've been preparing for this panel talk. So just like, I know obviously you're based in Donegal, you've worked, obviously there's a history of kind of culinary skills in Killybegs. And I know then just listening to Michael there again about how the industry has evolved, the pop-ups, the casual dining, all that kind of stuff, obviously education has to evolve to, cater for that, like a chef isn't a chef in a kitchen kind of thing. There's more to it than that now. Isn't that what we were talking about?
Absolutely. And here in Killybegs, it's been established since 1969. Now, of course, I wasn't there, believe it or not, but it is like the oldest campus dedicated to hospitality and tourism outside of Dublin. And we have evolved over the years. There used to be butchery, there used to be making their own stocks. Now we're looking at how we can do Lean Six Sigma in the kitchen, which is really waste management, looking at our costs. Our chef is not just a chef anymore. There's a lot more behind it. Using technology within the kitchens, adapting according to what the customer's menu requirements are. It's scientific as well as creative. And again, Michael did stress the point, creativity and entrepreneurship is the way to go in this industry. We have seen, one of our students is out in Switzerland at the moment creating dog biscuits out of waste products of fish. There's so much creativity out there, and I do think that we in ATU and in ATU Donegal, we've created some fabulous courses online that as part of lifelong learning, but are completely online that show Lean Six Sigma, contemporary issues within the diets and everything else within industry, what they're looking for, revenue management in the kitchen, performance management in the kitchen. And one of the most important things, and I get my colleagues will agree with me in the hospitality industry, the whole area of well-being, emotional intelligence, dealing with yourself, dealing with those pressures and dealing with people. So we have created courses along that line all the way.
And that's fantastic to hear, that again, there's career opportunities out of all those things you talked about that are not the traditional view that maybe people would have of tourism and hospitality. So it's fabulous to hear those examples. I know of one course as well, we'll just touch on, there's a work-based learning degree in hospitality management. And again, I think the industry, just as we've talked there, is evolving into kind of, allowing people to kind of undertake their degree studies, but also use their place of work as a place of study as such. So could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this was designed with our colleagues in ATU. It's a 3-year degree. Again, a lot of our stakeholders, a lot of hospitality entrepreneurs, hoteliers, tourism providers was fed into this degree. It's micro-credentials. It's, it's semesterized, it's completely online. There is one face-to-face where all our students will get to know each other. It's from September to December, which is a semester. You get a micro-credential after that. You get a certificate. You can carry on then to the next semester and you can build up your blocks over the year. So again, that fear factor is taken away. There is no exams. It's 100% continuous assessment. Again, the theory that you learn is backed up by our fabulous mentors out in industry that are showing the practical application of what they're learning. So I'm really excited about it. Industry's really excited about it. Again, we will have face-to-faces, which could be wherever the majority of the students might be. It could be in the Midlands, it could be down in Kerry, it could be in Lahinch, it could be up in Donegal.
Sounds like a good bet, yeah.
Well, so again, it's more collaborative. Students will get engaged and it's a way forward. We also have a work-based learning higher diploma in food business and product innovation. Yes. That is great for anybody that's looking to be more creative with their food produce. And again, that's within the hospitality industry as well.
Yeah.
Have we run out of time? Yes.
Nearly. There is just like one part of those is that there's a significant, I suppose, project, like when people look at a course and there's a project and it's a work-based learning project. So that's the whole thing that, you do want people to actually be working and then having a scenario in their place of work that they can do a project on, and they're mentored and stuff through that. I think that's really good, because again, you're working at the same time and you're building up this accredited portfolio of work.
Exactly. And it might be as simple as how to deal with a customer complaint. You may have dealt with that in professional skills module, right? Or how to deal with an account that is in arrears, how to deal with that, how to create a menu, how to service a room properly. So all of those things we will be going through the application of it and the online, we'll be going through the theory online and the application. And again, it's written up in a very easy to do template in a project online. So nothing is too much. And again, can I emphasize as well, the support mechanisms with an ATU in regards to learning support for any of our students as well is very, very apparent in all of our campuses.
Brilliant. Look, we have now run out of time, Rosemary. But look, I just wanted to say thank you very much to all our panelists. I really do think we had a great gathering of experts here who are able to talk confidently and competently and extensively about everything that is available in the tourism and hospitality sector, where the growth is and the opportunities for study. So hopefully that's encouraged anybody who was sitting on the fence to just find out a little bit more. All the courses we mentioned are available at atu.ie/flexible. There are a number of courses in this sector that are Springboard funded as well. So again, if you look up atu.ie/springboard, you'll find those funded courses that are now accepting applications for September 2023 start. So my final words are just to thank the panelists. Thank you very much to Michael for leaving your dining room and coming to talk to us today. Really appreciate it. Coach, thank you very much for joining us from Galway. And Rosemary, thank you so much for joining us from Donegal as well. I hope you've got some useful information out of today's session. And if you have any questions, there's still people on the Q&A for the next few minutes. So please do send in your questions. And thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely evening.